usually forget. So yeah, that's just where I was, 4 months ago, ladies and gentlemen, dealing with the knee pain, choking at night, fighting with the sleep app, really hated it. But it's good news. The FDA declared tirzepatide as a treatment for obstructive sleep apnea. And now I have lines in my neck. My neck used to look like a stack of pancakes. Can you see the lines? It's a really great place to be, guys. So thank you all for being on early. We're going to get started here in just a brief moment, another couple of minutes. Make sure you take the last couple of minutes and share the invitation with a friend, family member, or loved one. And I'm going to open up with a couple of young ladies sharing their story very quickly. For those of you who haven't heard of Ellie MD before, you haven't heard of what a peptide even is, we're not going to get into the science. We're going to leave that for the pros that are on this call. But we're going to share a couple of stories just to give you a brief introduction. Thank you, Kelly, for joining us. And I am looking for our founder and biochemist, our CEO, when she's on, very busy, but she always graces us with her presence. But we're going to get started on time. And then when she comes in, maybe she could raise her hand and send me a text message. You're going to see why Ellie MD is the fastest growing telemedicine longevity company, I believe, on the planet, because we're literally changing lives every single day. So it's about another minute in. Share the invitation with a friend, family member, or loved one. And you're going to see why so many lives are being changed. My phone is blowing up. I have to mute it out right now. Hang on a second, guys. They're lighting my line up right now. Okay, guys, I am actually in the meeting. All right. So we're going to have just a couple of stories and then we're going to move forward because this is more of an educational call, guys. So share this with your customers if you haven't done that yet. And we are on time and we're going to get started on time. Again, my name is Gary Simmonds. I'm out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I got two really great stories for you, okay? One of these young ladies I didn't even know a couple of months ago, and she has a really great story. Even her husband is having a great experience on these peptides. So I'm going to ask you, ladies, to go really quick. Give us like 60 to 90 seconds of what it was like before peptides. I'm going to start with Toni Freeney first. Okay. This young lady invited over 52 people. I think she's at 52 invitations for this call tonight. Actually, confirmations, excuse me. So, Toni Freeney, if you could jump on and just share what you're excited about in the world of peptides, how it was before, and what you're experiencing now. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate you. Yes, guys, my name is Coach Toni Freeney, and I want to say thank you to all the guests that came out tonight. And thank you to Dr. Wagner for coming and gracing us with this call tonight. And there is our beautiful founder, Miss Hanieh Sigari. I'm very, very thankful to this woman right here. She don't know me yet, but when I see her, I'm gonna give her a big, big hug. But yes, let me hurry up. So I met Gary, guys, November 1st. I saw some pictures in his inbox. And I was going through something very, very horrible, guys. I'll be 52 on Groundhog's Day on February 2nd. And I was trapped inside of my mind in a prison, guys. I was looking good on the outside and I was feeling like crap on the inside for many, many years. And I was having a lot of mental issues that I was dealing with that I couldn't talk to nobody about. And so when I heard this woman that I didn't know, Hanieh Sigari on this video, I was like, do this lady know me? Is she talking to me? Like, how does she know all this? And it was just so like, boom, a light bulb came on. So needless to say, I got on the product, started doing tirzepatide microdosing. And within a week, guys, I mean, inflammation gone, hips not hurting anymore. I feel like I want to work out, start feeling like my old self again. I'm just like, is this magic voodoo? What is it? I don't know, but I don't care. Give me more, give me more. And my husband started watching me and he's like, girl, give me some. So now both of us are on it. He's losing weight. He's getting rid of his lady paws and our relationship is a lot better. We're both on that NAD now. So it's giving us energy. It's just so good, guys. I'm just so happy with this situation. Thank you, Hanieh. Thank you, Gary.
Awesome. Okay, one more quick story, then we're going to turn it over to Miss Sigari, and you could bring her up, Miss Latoya Moody, Ellie MD's newest director. We're so happy for you. This young lady is a very dynamic nurse practitioner out of North Florida, and she's changing lives every day. So I'm not going to steal the show. Latoya Moody, take the mic. The line is yours.
Oh, awesome. Thank you guys. I'm like really in my work clothes. I'm just getting in. I am a nurse practitioner. I deal with infectious disease. So Before I heard of Ellie MD, I was struggling with finding access to peptides for my patients. I would have to listen to them tell me their struggles, how their primary doctor wouldn't prescribe it. I tried, we couldn't get access with insurance. And, it was, it's like, okay, you have to try to find it here, there, God knows where what kind of peptides they could be. And so I was.
Okay, so she may be having some technical difficulties, so we're going to go right on in. Ms. Sigari, thank you so much for being on with us. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, I can. Latoya, are you back?
Can you hear me?
Okay,
Okay, there
I'm
she
here.
is.
Can you hear
Okay.
me? I'm sorry.
Okay.
So
There you are.
not realizing, guys, that, I'm 46. I do professional bodybuilding. I never really thought about, GLP for myself, but I was in a competition prep struggling, losing the same 10 pounds I just kept gaining the same 10 pounds. I had a lot of water weight and swelling. I wasn't sure what was going on. And I started, I said, I'm going to start this for me. And I tell you what, the light bulb for me went off, and it was like, oh my gosh, all of my swelling went away. I am down 15 pounds. I had given up on losing weight when I found this. So I lost those 15 pounds, and now my weight is nice and steady. And the food noise, I mean, I've struggled with my weight all my life. I am like a squirrel. Anybody who knows me, I'm a total squirrel. And, I haven't bought any nuts in 3 months. And it's so nice just to like exist and not think about food. It's just such a nice feeling. So I am super, super excited. I am so grateful for Hanieh for bringing this company to all of us. I love hearing her passion for where the company is going, all the different things that are coming and will be released in the future to just help all of us with or just with longevity. So I'm going to bring up Hanieh, if you will. Come on and just share a little bit of your passion with all of us on the call tonight.
Oh, thank you, Latoya. Thank you, Gary. I think I've been talking to Dr. Wagner about how important community is in pursuit of a mission and getting the word out. And we want to be an impact-driven company. We want to be the most impactful. Gary, you said it the other day on New Year's Eve. You were like, we're going to be the most impactful company out there. And I think we're slowly, I see what we're doing. We have impacted tens of thousands of lives. We've helped individuals reduce their weight. And just imagine, reducing your weight by 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, how much impact that has on healing the body. And something I've been talking to Dr. Wagner about is the power of peptides when it comes to healing the body. And from the first conversation I had with Dr. Wagner, I was like, oh my God, we're so aligned on our goal and our mission and how we want to help and impact society. So I'm just so grateful to have this beautiful community that comes together once a week, twice a week to learn about peptides. I find them to be incredibly powerful sources and resources, really, truly, in healing the body. So I would like to bring Dr. Wagner on, and I'll come back afterwards, but to talk about what peptides are and how they can help heal the body. So I'm going to pass it on to you, Dr. Wagner.
Well, thank you, Hanieh, for having me on, and thank you, Gary, for hosting tonight. I agree with Hanieh that, this real change only happens in community, and it's really cool to, be a part of this and on some of these webinars and see the community that you guys have started and have started to grow and cultivate, because this is where sustainable change is going to definitely take place. And what better tool to be able to use nowadays is these peptides. I've been in this space for several years on my own healing journey, and peptides are some of the most powerful therapies that I've seen in the last, 10 to 20 years. And again, we can help so many different conditions, everything from weight loss to immune deficiencies to anti-aging to accelerated performance. There's so many different systems within the bodies that we can help really increase that cell efficiency and help people live longer, healthier, happier lives. And really, at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're empowering people to take back their life. You know, Gary, you were sharing, you know, you used to look like this, and now you don't. Now you're all thin in the neck. You know, you don't have much pain. You have more energy, and at the end of the day, what does that mean? That means, Gary, you have your life back. You feel empowered. You feel like you've been able to make these changes, and these peptides empowered you to make these life-altering changes where you don't have to live with the weight or live with the pain or live with the discomfort. We can empower people to make these changes and get to these root cause issues. So peptide therapy is definitely like one of my favorite topics to talk about right now, and also all the cool things that are coming down the pipeline of this regenerative medicine space, and really help teaching people to really take back their power through these peptide therapies. So, Hanieh, I don't know where you want me to kind of start. I have so many thoughts. If you want me to start with a certain topic or what you would like me to kind of talk about here.
Maybe just give us an overall, I know we had another call prior to this, but maybe you can talk to us about what peptides are and how they heal the body, and resetting the software, like you like to say. Maybe you could share that analogy with everyone.
So we'll start with the basics of what peptides are. Now, peptides are branches of amino acids, typically like 50 amino groups of like 50 or less amino acids are considered peptides. And when you have more of those peptide bonds together, they're proteins. And when they're in these smaller forms, we're able to modulate different systems within the body. So that's pretty much what peptides are. Now, the difference between peptide therapy and conventional medicine is that conventional medicine is just trying to treat a symptom, and it's trying to hack your biology in a way that we're trying to suppress a symptom or suppress a pathway that your body eventually starts to overcome. And then this is where you start to run into these side effects, and then typically leads to a whole host of different types of medications that you have to do to start to manage those. So it's more of just like managing, where peptides, we're increasing cell efficiency and we're getting to the root cause, because your body naturally produces peptides within the body. So we're giving your body a signaling molecule that your body recognizes and knows what to do with. So we're not trying to block something, but we're helping the body come into a homeostasis state where we're able to heal at a root level. So we're not just dealing with symptoms, but we're, again, helping the body to heal itself. So that's the first thing that you got to understand, is that the body has an amazing ability to heal itself. When we give them these powerful peptide therapies, it helps your body remember how to heal itself. And so the software analogy is, you know, when we add these peptides, we're updating your software. And what I mean by that is you get your iPhone or whatever type of Android phone that you have, and eventually, like, that software needs to be updated because things don't run as well. And we want to continue to update that system. So, but eventually what happens is there's a limiting factor to how much we can upgrade that system. So how that pertains to patients is that we all have our own constitution of where our body's at, and our own bio individuality of how much we can update that. So in the beginning, when you start to cycle through some of these peptides, you might be a hyper responder because you've never updated your software. Your backlog for updates is so old, so out of date. So initially, you're going to feel like this huge improvement, but eventually the hardware can only handle so much of a software update. So this is where we can implore other advanced therapies that are coming down the pipeline to continue to update your hardware. And so then when you go back to that software update, these things are always working. So again, we're helping people live longer, healthier lives by regenerating these systems and continually to helping the body remember how to heal itself. Because again, we're exposed to so many different things that continue to break down our bodies on a day-to-day basis. So we're able to maintain a higher level of health longer because our bodies are really amazing in what they can do.
Dr. Wagner, I see that Gary has posted, let's talk about the real peptide science. There are a lot of gimmicky products out there right now. There's a lot of people advertising supplement forms of GLP-1s. Can you touch on what makes the GLP-1 medications that Ellie MD offers, semaglutide, tirzepatide, compared to what is available in supplement form or the nature's Ozempic. Can you touch on that, please?
Yeah, so in terms of like the nature's Ozempic and increasing your own GLP-1 production, again, that sounds nice. However, your own GLP-1 production is quickly broken down by an enzyme called DPP-4. So what happens is because that is broken down really readily, even if, let's say, like you did take a supplement and it did increase that GLP-1 production, that enzyme is still going to break it down within a matter of 2 minutes. So you're still only going to get about 10 to 15% within circulation within the body. And what happens is you're going to get less of that has an effect on what people like to call is like the food noise. The biggest effect that most people feel when they take the semaglutide or the tirzepatide is it stays longer circulatory within the system. That GLP-1 stays longer and it doesn't get broken down by that DPP-4. And then what that does is because you have more in circulation, it's able to cross that blood-brain barrier and help with a lot of that food noise so you're not overeating or continually to graze throughout the day so you feel more satiated.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I'm just going to ask one question that came into the chat and then I'll pass it to you, Gary. I don't want to hijack your call, but someone wrote, Dr. A wrote, after we reset or update, what does sustainability look like? Many clients want to know if they have to stay on GLP-1s forever.
So none of these peptides you have to stay on forever, like quote unquote, because your body doesn't build up a dependence on it. But it depends on how many lifestyle modifications that you make that the sustainability still happens. And even if you do optimize your lifestyle in terms of like diet, sleep, nutrition, stress reduction, having a little bit of these GLPs on a maintenance program where you're taking a lower dose for a short period of time can definitely like tip the scales in your advantage when it comes to maintaining your health long term. And again, once you kind of start on this journey of either like weight loss or peptide therapy or hormone therapy, you just feel so good all the time that you just want to continue feeling good. So you want to know like what else is out there. And again, there's so many different peptides that you can cycle through that you can always experiment on improving something within your system. So again, like you don't have to be on them forever, but I mean, why not? If we're able to improve our system, why not continue to incorporate these things in your daily practice to give yourself a better advantage at a longer, healthier, happier life?
Okay, one last question, and then I'll pass it on to you, Gary. So at Ellie MD, we offer Simmonds, PT141, glutathione, NAD, tirzepatide, semaglutide, synapsin. Can you touch on, some of these peptides? Maybe Simmonds. I see a picture here, and I know this patient uses Simmonds specifically. Can you touch on like just 1 minute on each one of these, if possible?
Yeah, so Simmonds a great one. That's considered a growth hormone secretagogue. Specifically, it's called a GHRH. It sends a signal to the anterior pituitary gland to start the production of growth hormone. And growth hormone is produced and released on what's called as a pulsatory system, meaning you get small pulses of it throughout the day. The largest pulse of it you're going to get at night before bed. And growth hormone is incredible for increasing lean muscle mass, decreasing inflammation, increasing levels of stage 4 sleep. So it's going to help with that recovery. And it's going to help your body heal and recover that much faster. Because again, as we age, the production of growth hormone starts to slow down, just like the rest of our hormone profile as well too. So by adding in the Simmonds is nice because it's not giving your body a super physiological release of growth hormone. So we know like bodybuilders, they take very high amounts of growth hormone, exogenous growth hormone. You're working with your own endogenous system of growth hormone. So you don't have to worry about all the negative repercussions because we're working with the body's natural productions. So you're not getting a decrease in, the receptor sensitivity, which we have seen with the HGH, because originally when HGH came out, we thought it was, the fountain of youth. It was going to help all these diseases. It was going to cure all these things. But we ran into a lot of issues because, again, we're introducing something exogenously instead of working with the body's own endogenous system. And when you can improve something with the body's own endogenous system, it's able to decrease the amount of side effects that you would see with that.
Perfect. And can you quickly touch on?
Don't rush, Hanieh. Please continue.
All right, I don't want to hijack.
I wouldn't even know what to ask him. I'm not the pro here. Please, ma'am, take the time, all the time you need.
So, I mean, we have a lot of healthcare professionals. We have physicians on this call. We have bodybuilders, professional athletes. So I just want to make sure that we're, spreading the information in the community.
Please, ma'am.
Inflammaging is a term that's used in the world of longevity, as you know. So can you share with us how peptide therapy helps with reducing inflammation, overall inflammation in the body, and really balances both the gut and just brings the body back to a state of homeostasis?
Yeah, so there's really a really terrible domino effect that actually starts to happen once you have this inflammation or chronic inflammation throughout the body. So typically, inflammation is the start of the chronic disease. It kind of starts that cascade of processes. So what happens is you have chronic inflammation within the body. The body responds with the immune system. You get either a hyper or hypoactive response to the immune system. And this is where you can see, again, autoimmune cases start to pop up. And then from there, because this immune system has become overactive, what happens next is you get a decrease in your body's energy systems. The energy systems are the mitochondria, your body's ability to produce ATP. So then once you're producing less ATP, you feel brain fog, tired, lethargy, not able to lose as much weight, because it starts this whole feedback loop system that continues to feed into itself. So if we can stop the inflammation right here, we can stop this effect and this effect right here as well too. So what we can do to help with the balancing of the immune system and that energy production is, one, you can use some of the other peptides that you use, is we can add NAD into that therapy while we're working on the inflammation with, let's say you're using a GLP or the 𝗬𝗪lin, we're helping again with that inflammation response. And then if you add in the NAD up here, you're upregulating your energy system. So we have a two-prong approach where we're hitting more systemically throughout the whole body. And then when you get those two in there within the system, your body's able to start regulating the immune system, because it's like, hey, we're okay right here with this inflammation, and we're producing enough energy to be able to deal with these things. So that's when you use, let's say, again, the 𝗬𝗪lin and the NAD, your body's going to start to naturally regulate that immune system. And again, less brain fog, better sleep. You're going to be able to put on muscle easier, because again, we're stopping a lot of that upstream process of the disease, starting with that inflammation. And again, we can plug and play so many different peptides. I can talk about, we could use the 𝗬𝗪lin, or we could use the glutathione to help with that inflammation process. One of my favorites that I think you should start using is BPC-157. That's one of my favorite. We talked about that on the last call as well too. Synapsin is a great one for neuroinflammation. That's going to help with the neuroinflammation, give your body energy, help with mitochondria production. Another one of my favorite one is SS31. That one helps to stabilize the cell. So again, I can go over like 20 different peptides that we can hit all these different loops, but the real goal is when you design a program, you want to hit at least 2 of those boxes so that the body can start to regulate that other one, because then that's when we see a decrease in like all sorts of different conditions, because your body has a limited source of resources. And we don't realize that until after high school, because when you're in your teens, you feel like you're invincible. You can eat whatever you want, miss as much sleep as whatever you want. You feel indestructible, but then all of a sudden you hit 25, 30, 35, you're like, man, my body does not feel the same. Not that your body doesn't feel the same, or that we can get you to feel like your 18-year-old self again, because we can with these peptide therapies, with hitting these major underlying systems. You will be shocked at how well you could feel at like age 30, 40, 50. You're going to start saying like, wow, like I feel like better than when I was 20. And I hear that time and time again from patients that, again, these things are almost like turning back the clock of time and empowering people to such an extent that, you know, it's just very exciting.
I love that. And I like to think that we're usually ahead of the curve here at Ellie MD, and anything I've done in my career, it's always been when I introduced telehealth in the network marketing space. We were the only company out there. We were one of the first. And I feel like peptide therapy is the next frontier of healing the body and medicine. Where else do you think, I mean, hormone therapy is going to be the next focus for us, but where do you think the future of peptide therapy is going to go and medicine in general?
Well, the most popular peptide that people know right now is obviously these GLPs, because it's helping people, again, calm down that food noise, take control of their weight, helps with a lot of aches and pains. So weight loss is definitely like the first entry that we've seen with these peptide therapies. And then obviously we know that, you know, people are struggling with their hormones, especially as we age. So those are typically like the first two things in terms of like alternative medicine that people start to get into. It's either like weight loss or the hormone therapy. But again, that's literally just the start of the journey. The where this is going is not only is it going from weight loss to helping people to get to wellness, but really that next leap is that anti-aging protocol right there, whether it's through some of these gene therapies that are coming down the pipeline, as well as the exosomes and stem cell therapies as well too, where there's a lot more research, as well as like proper understanding of these regenerative medicines that are, again, helping people live longer, healthier lives, and also giving us the ability to reverse a lot of these so-called incurable or chronic diseases that, you know, so many people live without hope. And we're able to really like transform people's lives at a fundamental level.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. We're a longevity company here at LMD. We're a longevity company. My first goal was to keep my friends around for as long as possible. So I think just like you touched on, weight is a huge lever that you could pull on, followed by hormone therapy, and then fine tuning the levers through all these different therapies. So thank you so much, Dr. Wagner, for joining us. And I know there are tons of questions in the chat. If you can get around to them, that would be really awesome. But thank you again for being here. And Gary, I'm going to pass it on to you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And don't go too far. You know, I like your story a lot too, Hanieh, because, you know, I remember the Hair Club for Men back in the days. I'm not only the founder, but I'm also a client. Our founder and CEO dropped 100 pounds doing this, you know, so she's not just story talk. She's not trying to cash in on the GLP boom. She's been in the gerontology space and longevity space since she was a very young lady. And one of the things I'm most proud about that you've accomplished here for us, Hanieh, is the fact that you went the extra mile to separate us from the masses. There's so much crap GLP out there, full of lipopolysaccharides, full of contaminants. They're going to cause brain swelling down the road and things that I don't even understand. I'm not an expert. I didn't know if it was an agonist or antagonist. I just know I needed it. And the fact that this company's product stands before the board, the National Association of Boards of Pharmacies, meaning I don't want your cheap GLP for 50 bucks. That stuff is coming in from China, it's coming in from India, it's on crates, and it's for animal testing and research purposes only. And people are saying, it ain't working for me. Well, where are you getting it from? Right? If I want a premium steak, I'm going to a top tier steakhouse like Ruth Chris or something A-class. I'm not going to go grab a steak from the back burner of my local gas station. It's not the same. We're not all on the same GLP, guys. LMD is filtered. We deal with sterile pharmacies only that are FDA inspected. That's the real deal. And if they're touching anything with animal testing or research grade peptides, they don't qualify. They don't qualify because Ellie's not risking the accreditation just to save people a couple of bucks. You're saving money anyway, right? I was packing my face with 4 or 5 meals a day, shoving it down my pie hole. What am I eating for? A pound is 3,500 calories. I was probably carrying 200,000 extra calories on board that now I can access for energy. I literally eat once a day now. I don't spend 30 to 40 bucks a day on food anymore because I'm not hungry. My body can get the minerals from the foods that I eat. I know GLP-1 gets the glucose where it needs to go. I eat for minerals and I don't think about food. You only think about oxygen when you don't have any. And because I have plenty of food on board, I don't think about food. I'm accessing and tapping those fat reserves. How else do you lose 65 pounds in 4.5 months when I've been on this roller coaster for over 10 years? It wasn't cute. I was about dying in my sleep. I couldn't take the sleep apnea anymore, and I hated that machine. So I don't want to make this call about me. I really would want y'all to continue to go on and whatever else you want to share with the audience, because I'm telling you, I'm honored to be on this call. My life has changed. I don't have to say a whole lot. We can go as long as you want to, but I want to respect the crowd. If there's anything else, Dr. Wagner, you want to add on, because as we wrap this call up in a few minutes, guys, some of you are thinking, and it's not for everyone. We have a business model here, and we don't like to include that conversation in this conversation, respectfully, because a lot of you came just to hear the science, hear about the companies, what we're doing, and how we're making an impact as a longevity company, right? You came on to help your friend get a great turnout, and I'm going to shout those folks out in just about a minute. I'm just going to call their names, give them an honorable mention for the sake of time. However, I will spend a couple minutes at the very end. For those of you who have your business hats on, you're like, wait a minute. If this is impacting so many people, it's such a high demand product, and 70% of this country is going to be on some type of peptide product or therapy in the next few years, how do we benefit from that financially? And that's the business talk that most people don't have to stay for. And you don't. You're free to go after this, right? Create your free account, guys. Make sure you get the link from the person that invited you. Don't buy anything until you get a comfort level. We don't close here. We educate. Education is this foundation of prevention. And that's what I learned from Hanieh Sigari when I first got here. We're not trying to be the biggest money-making company out there, guys. Otherwise, we'd be hawking this stuff for $800 a month too, which we easily could. It's about education and prevention. So go to the FAQs on the website, ask for the FAQ videos, get your questions, get a comfort level, get back to the person who invited you on. But before I tap into what Ellie MD is as a business for a couple minutes, any closing words, Dr. Wagner or Ms. Sigari? I'm so honored to have you on this call. I don't want to keep talking.
Oh, thank you. Before I pass it on to Dr. Wagner, I just wanted to, you guys might notice the symbol of the elephant, and it's holding a little clover. Actually, it's homage to my favorite elephant, Horton, from Horton Hears a Who, Dr. Seuss's book. And Horton became the voice of the Who's that lived in Whoville. He became an advocate. And that's exactly what we're here to do. We're here to become an advocate for our communities and lift each other up. That's what we're here to do, impact our communities. And Gary, I think making things affordable and accessible is really, really important. And that's why there is a business model here, because we want to make sure that if you want these products, can't necessarily afford it, well, there is a means to be able to get it, get 3-4 other people on and bam, your product's for free. So I wanted to, and then also I understand the power of entrepreneurship and getting information out there, right? Making information accessible too. So that's what we're building here, a community of like-minded individuals, healthcare advocates. And I'm just so proud to be here. And just touching on the pharmacy side, I wanted to mention, I'm going to get this information out to our brand partners. I'll share it with you, but I asked our pharmacy to provide the potency and the sterility tests and all the information. Well, the potency of the medications came back at 114%, okay? Highly potent medications. They're buying it from FDA-approved suppliers. We're not just working with anybody we're working with incredible pharmacy partners, and I've chosen these partners deliberately with high intention and focus, and a majority are in at least 45 states plus. So you could rest assured that you're getting a high quality product that has been vetted and tested, and it's been tested by a third party partner. So anyways, just really proud of what we're doing here as a community. And thank you all so much, whether you're here to support a friend, whether you're here to learn more about these products and services. Thank you for being here, because you can't wait for the healthcare system to be your advocate. You have to advocate for yourself. And that's what we're here to do. So I'm going to pass it on to you, Dr. Wagner. Any closing words or any other information you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot I could say. But I would say the most important thing is these are very powerful therapies, and everyone's going to respond at different rates, because we're changing you again at a cellular level. And some people are going to be hyper responders, and some people are going to be hypo responders, where it just takes a little bit more time to see the results that you want to see. So I want to say, get a long-term vision for what you want for your life and where you want to be, and give these things time, because you're hearing testimonies that these things work for people. And even though we're all bio-individually different, we're still essentially made of the same stuff. We're made of the same atoms, the same cells. Because again, for you, it just might be a little bit more tweaking. Maybe we have to add in the 𝗤𝗧𝗦𝗧𝗏 to increase your growth hormone where your body's hanging on to lean muscle mass. Maybe we need to add some glutathione to increase your detox pathways so that we can help remove some of that, those toxins from your body, so your body's not so weighed down. Maybe we need to add some NAD to increase your energy level. So again, there's multiple different things for multiple different people. That's going to be like that final piece. So look at each of these things that you're doing as just kind of a piece to a puzzle. And the more pieces that you start to add to that puzzle, the clearer that picture gets. So again, have a long-term view for your vision, for your life. And you know, what they're really doing here in Ellie MD is the community. And I can't stress enough that, you know, if you have a community that you can kind of talk through these things, like, hey, thought I was going to experience this at this time, what is your experience? And then that can give you some encouragement to keep going, to keep pursuing, and to keep, you know, really taking back your own health. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we are all responsible for our own lives.
Yeah. That is amazing. Yes, sir. And we do have a great community. The longevity page, Beth Graves and Blair Critch, they put that together. Well, I think of 1,500 people in there sharing stories. We don't give medical advice, but we encourage each other. And I got on glutathione. I took my second shot today, actually. I didn't want to miss it. My first shot was Monday after hearing you talk about it on the educational series a couple of days ago. And ladies and gentlemen, we don't have anybody on this call under 18. I took an amazing poop on Monday. It was so fantastic, I had to rebuke it. I couldn't even get it down. I'm like, where is that coming from? I've been on GLP-1 for 4.5 months. I have no issues there. This thing was a demon, okay? I'm like, that's got to be the liver detox that Dr. Wagner talked about. I didn't realize. I could just tell by the consistency that that's been there for a long time. And I feel amazing. I don't know if I was supposed to feel good after my first shot. 20 minutes later, I felt a little something. Maybe it's because it was intermuscular. But I'm not a, you know, glutathione specialist. I just know that some stuff was living in me that got evicted, and I'm excited. I'm also happy to take my second shot. And I've also cycled out on NAD+, and I'm cycling off and going on glutathione now, which I started because of what you shared a couple of weeks ago. And look at my beard. You know, Cindy Crater's husband asked me about a month ago, have you noticed fewer gray hairs? I'm like, I didn't even look. And when I looked, even in my mustache, I never have black hair in my mustache or beard. I don't. But I guess because it, quote unquote, reduces the oxidative stress, even at the cells and the hair follicles, if I said that right, I don't really know. I just like repeating fancy stuff when I hear it. But I know daddy's got some black back. I know that. Okay. So I appreciate being able to age backwards. And I thank you all so much for the information that you shared with our audience today. You all did such a great job inviting everybody out. I'm going to take a minute and give a couple of shout outs to the folks that helped this come together. I do not do this by myself. I mean, literally, we had over 200 plus confirmations for this call. I think we ended up at like 223 or something like that. And over 120 people have joined us so far. It's probably was 150 or maybe even more, because a certain amount of people stay on at the same time. But we got Toni Freeney out there, honorable mention, 51 confirmations, Latoya Moody, Monique Battle, Cindy Crater, Rolanda. We got Monique Manderson, Rich Feld, Kelly Hecton, George Ward, Avery Atkinson, Dr. Amber Ball, Jessica Reeder, nurse practitioner, Susan Schrader, Heather Real Queen, Carolyn Samuels, that's you know, Queen Mother, she's 72, and Chrissy Peterson, one of the greatest realtors out there in you know, eastern part of this country. So thank you all so much for doing a great job. And we're going to wrap up here. If you want to stay a couple minutes with me for the business talk, I'll take about 5 minutes, show you why we're making money, because we're actually making an impact. Money is a measuring tool for the amount of service that you provide. It's not about hawking products, guys, okay? So real quickly, I'm going to have Latoya Moody come on with me for a second, because she just qualified as Ellie MD's newest director, 12K in volume in her team. This young lady worked so hard for this. She saved so many people money, because when you're not spending 30 to 40 bucks a day on food anymore, I'm down to like 10 to 15 bucks. I save $20 a day every day because I no longer have that in my food budget. That's $600 a month. If you do the math, you're already paying for your peptides. You're just buying burgers instead. So stop buying the burgers because the GLP-1 will make you stop. So you don't need willpower to do that. You know, I tell people I'm doing keto and intermittent fasting without trying. I'm doing the same thing without the sufferance, without the willpower. So I'm automatically saving money, not because I'm starving myself for not trying to eat. My body's just eating the stored calories that it's been carrying around for over a decade. And Ellie MD has an incredible compensation plan. I won't deep dive, but semaglutide is our most common product, right? Everybody starts that. It's not Ozempic. It's commercially different because our biochemists added a little B12 to it out of wisdom. So it's commercially different. We're not saying we're the same, but it's the active ingredient. And our tirzepatide, same thing. And the FDA did approve Zepbound as a treatment for obstructive sleep apnea, right? And the active ingredient is our active ingredient without the $1,600 price tag. So when you look at semaglutide, $299 a month, guys, really simple. We offer that in a 3-month program with 0% Ellie financing, no credit check required. It's about accessibility. But we don't make money off the prescription drugs itself. We can't make money off the sale of prescription drugs. That's illegal. But there's a logistical cost that goes along with moving medications. There's some other things like advertising and different things that companies don't have to pay for. They can do a referral program. We attach a point value to that system, and we can learn and earn at the same time. So $88, you can earn up to $88 on that $300 order. I've earned millions in this industry. I won't even get into the story. I've helped several other people become multiple 7-figure earners as well after 17 plus years of absolute failure. So I don't take credit for being some guru because I'm not. I take credit for never giving up till I found the right thing. If you think hard work makes you rich, you're right. But only equity and timing makes you wealthy. This company is 6 months old, guys. And we're the only one in this space doing telehealth longevity. It's so sexy. I can't even stand it. I work from sun up to sundown every day because this is for my granddaughters, right? So this is like 600% more commissions. I'm used to getting 15 bucks on an order like that. We're getting almost $90. And by the time you get yourself 20 customers, that ain't hard to do, okay? Because 70% of this country is overweight and 40% is clinically obese. Just go outside. Customers are there, but don't try to sell them on it. Get them to a Zoom, get them to the website, point them to the system, let the telemedicine practitioners do what they're trained and certified to do. You do not have to be the know-it-all, be the professional pointer. We're the boots on the ground, right? And our commander-in-chief is Hanieh Sigari, and we're propelling that vision, and it's causing some impact on the financial side as well. 20 customers or so, guys, where else are you gonna make $2 grand a month on the side doing that? We don't even have to make any income claims. So Latoya Moody came in and she has a really funny story. I'm going to have her tell it to you really quickly. And it's also been recently expanded because she just qualified director. I don't know how you make 4 to 5 grand off $12,000 worth of sales, but she did. According to Ellie MD's comp plan, no get rich quick. You got to provide a product or service. We've already explained that to you guys. We've explained that to you. So Latoya, take the mic. Talked about collecting those bonuses all the way to senior manager, and then you cracked into director, qualified for Dominican Republic, qualified to spend time with our CEO in California and Palo Alto coming up in a couple months, the director's retreat, qualified for so many things, but more importantly, you've impacted more lives than you absolutely know. So take the mic and we can finish up with that. I appreciate you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, guys. So I haven't been doing this that long, and my good friend George, who shared this with me, we were talking one day, and he's telling me about, how he's talking to he was talking to a friend about this partner that he had that made, a couple $1,000s or whatever in their first, their first month or whatever. Just concerned. I was like, well, George, what partner is that? And he's like, listen, girl, I'm talking about you. And I'm like, what? And, I'm beginning to like the back office now that I'm growing and I'm learning. So I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'm appreciating it. But in the beginning, I just didn't want to have anything to do with that back office. And, I saw some checks, but they didn't look that big. And so, of course, I called you. And I'm like, how much have I made, Gary? And so you went to talking about these, well, you qualified for this bonus and you did this and you did that. And I'm like, oh, okay. And subsequently, I did see that check come in and it was a blessing. And I just want to share with you guys, I work a lot. As you see, it's 8:30. I'm just getting home from work. I was up, before dark, and now here I'm home at dark again. And my kids, I was just picking my daughter up from volleyball because she plays club volleyball. And it's expensive, okay? But she wants to do it. And so, of course, mom's going to make it happen. And so, just to have that check come in, it's just, it's Christmas time, holidays, like it was the perfect timing. And having something like this, I can already see that it is going to afford me some more time because I can do this from anywhere. And I maybe won't have to work so much. I won't have to, work these extra jobs that I do sometimes, to make things happen. So I am just super excited to share this with all my girlfriends. I know a lot of nurse practitioners. I told them I'm going to have it's going to be an army of nurse practitioners here, and we are going to be changing lives, changing our own lives. And I just cannot wait. I haven't even wrapped my head around where I'm going, California, DR. I'm like, okay, let's, at this point, I'm like, I just want to just help people get on these peptides. So super excited about it. And I'm very grateful. And I'm very grateful to you, Hanieh, for providing a platform for us. This is like a dream. I haven't been real passionate about something in a long time. And this has really got me on fire. I'll tell you, my friend George, he asked me about 8 times during this. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that, George. Peptides are great. You're going to do great. You're going to do great. And then next thing you know, hell, I'm doing great. I'm like, okay, let's go. So I'm excited and thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing when you can make more than your mortgage in a couple of weeks. So we don't make any income claims, guys and gals. Ellie MD's comp plan is legally sufficient and sound. It's according to the effort that you apply, but we do work as a team. So you're not on your own out there in the wilderness trying to figure out how to do this, okay? So thank you all for being on again. Thank you, Ms. Sigari. If you have any closing words, you could definitely add them. Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Wagner. Anything you want to add, ma'am, before we wrap up?
No, I'm just so grateful for this beautiful community that keeps coming together and it's growing. That's how big movements have started with small communities, big movements, and we're on to something here. So thank you so much for attending. Thank you all for believing in this mission. I appreciate you so much. And thank you, Dr. Wagner, for joining us this evening. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Latoya. Thank you, Coach Toni. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Thank you.
Rock and roll, guys. Thank you all for being here. God bless you.
Thank you.